Right, morning all. Welcome to the Jester News Arse with some interesting stuff that happened yesterday. I was talking to some of the GCs yesterday. There's an interesting decision coming up, isn't there? We're seeing the unfolding of the Conservators' leadership thing. Kemi Badenoch's doing well. Don't think she can make it, but we'll see. I do wish she could. We can see that Penny Mordaunt has blown it completely. I mean, it's just awful. It's like watching a man trying to empty a ship with a big hole in it with a cup. It's really been quite unedifying to see what Penny has done. I'm also unhappy with the fact that Sunak and a few of the others can't seem to answer the declarative question, what is a woman? Luckily, we have Suella and Kemi who seem to be doing well. However, I got myself into a conversation yesterday with a couple of people I've known on Twitter for a while, and it brought to the fore in my mind something that I think is going on. It was Lescap I was talking to, link to the Twitter down there, does writings, good writings, and also Jane I was talking to, and a couple of others. And essentially it was about the fact that the Overton window has shifted, and I was surprised when I got a couple of messages from people saying, Overton window? What on earth is the Overton window? So I thought it might be an idea just to explain it a little bit and why it's so relevant to GC, particularly GC women, who traditionally are leftists, which is most of them. Despite the fact that people are going, they're funded by right-wing money. I'm dripping in it. Look at all the right-wing money I've got with the $2.99 Primark t-shirt. Nope. Definitely not dripping in money. So all this money that we apparently got because of the right wing, well, nonsense. But anyway, so here we go. The Overton window. Think about it this way. British people are generally very fair. It's the nature of us. We respond to a slight bit of authority. It's the way we've always been. That's why we queue other places. Lots of people don't queue in other places, but we queue because that's just the way we are. There's a sort of British, fairness that we have. We're generally a nation of centrists, but we don't like to cause a fuss. Reminds me of the story about the couple that were shagging in a train carriage years ago. There they are, quite happily going out hammer and tongs. And by the time they're both spent and they sit back, the lady that's sitting opposite them was desperately reading the paper and trying not to pay any attention. The two of them are absolutely, replete with erotic pleasure. One of them lights up a cigarette and the woman reading the paper says, do you mind? I think you'll find this is a no-smoking compartment. That's a very British way of seeing the world. So I think it's interesting that what we've got now is a situation where the Overton window has moved to such an extent that people who would be traditionally left are having to collaborate with people who would have been traditionally right. I mean, it's people like Suzanne Moore and Judy Bindle writing for the Telegraph, for goodness sake, or wherever it may be. But we need to recognise that this has happened, and folks need to understand what we mean by the Overton window, because they need to be more politically aware if they're currently not. If we're going to stop critical social justice, which is what this is, gender ideology, queer theory, critical race theory, it's all the same thing. Stop trying to pretend it's not, because it is. It's all the same thing, straight out of the postmodern teat, So I think we have to make sure that people are able to understand the Overton window. So the Overton window works like this: middle, right, left. When one of the parties, in this case the left, right, goes so far to the left, that consensus about where the middle ground is changes. Now the current left that we've got, what's left of the left? No. Oh, please yourselves. Right, so what the current left that we've got are now so far left, and they've reached the marble bathroom wall of the far left marble bathroom. They've gone that far left. And stuck on the wall is a very large dildo marked critical social justice, which they're currently playing with. So this is the look on the face of your average far left person right now. They've gone that far, right? In which case the Overton window, which would have led us to understand what centre was, is now stretched like an elastic band to such an extent that people that are left centre, but generally realists or old school leftists worried about class and fairness, now feel like they're closer to the right than they are to the left. This is a perfectly natural consequence of pendulum politics in the UK, and it shouldn't worry you too much. So I keep gently poking people like Lescap and Jane and saying, you're going to have to vote Tory. In fact, I told Lescap yesterday that I was going to take her by the arm to the polling booth. So she did. And they all scream blue murder. I'm never voting. I will never vote Tory in my life. I'll never ever vote for the Tories. Well, I don't think you're going to have much choice. Because if we get a Labour Party in the next 10 years while this infection is still around, you'll really see what it means to watch the old patriarchy and everything else you want to call it rise, and women to lose their rights in a much greater way than they currently are. Same for gay people. It will be a real problem. So you're going to have to, I think. And I have faith in you. I do, really. I know I shouldn't laugh, but I do have faith in you, because I know what happens. See, we go down to the polling booth, we do it in the morning. We're hoping it's a nice sunny day when the election comes up, and off we potter. If not, we huddle under our umbrellas and run with a little piece of paper, and off we go. And then we get in the polling booth, and your mouth goes dry. And you're looking at the box, all the little boxes you can tick, and you'll be thinking to yourself, I'm a woman, or I'm a gay man. Fuck, who do I vote for? And you'll do what everybody else does. Is you'll vote out of fear. So you'll tick the Tory box. Because if you don't, you're a turkey voting for Christmas. Anyway, I'll keep reminding you, and I'll keep telling you, you might want to think about voting Tory. And I know it sticks in your craw, but don't think about it as voting Tory. Think about it as moving the left back to the middle. Think about it as saying, as a democracy, because we are a democracy, right, left liberal lunatics, gone too far. No, come back to the centre, please. And they'll come back to the centre and they'll win your votes because they'll see that you're going to the right. That's how it's meant to be, because democracy is the best of a bad bunch. It's as good as it gets. Representative democracy, that's what we get to do. And if you want that to happen, if you want to get involved, turn up. That's a first. Make sure you turn up, because you have to take part in order for it to become a reality. So that's my advice today, is think about the Overton window. Imagine the far left with their, massive dildo of critical social justice, which they're pleasuring themselves with, because it is about narcissism, and me, and all the stuff that comes with it. And then think about the right, which is far uglier when it gets further right, and quicker in its response to what it doesn't like, because when you make the body of what would be deemed to be normative society feel like they're the ones that aren't, it won't be long till they come after the infection. We might want to think about that. So, yeah. Vote Tory. Let's swing the pendulum back. Then we can build a decent left. Then we can have a decent opposition. And then we can keep them out of the conversation, because they'll be so marginalised, nobody will listen to what they say. There'll just be a bunch of dribbling authoritarians sitting in the corner. So, Kemi Badenoch. I say it again, because I said it the day before yesterday. I'll say it again. Kemi Badenoch. Vote for her. See you later. Keep jesting, good people.